just through word of mouth, like the rap music and like comedy. So I would go down to the comedy club, and I remember Norm Macdonald would come through, and he was probably 25 years old, right? And I'm 16 in the audience. And then I got to become this huge fan of Norm, and he was Norm. But back then there wasn't a lot of people doing stand-up like Norm. Like there wasn't this sort of angle of sort of this absurdity to it, this sort of, it was more of a structured down the middle way of doing stand-up back then. And so Norm was this sort of, you know,
it was a curveball.
Yeah, this sort of curveball, and we just couldn't get enough of it. So every time we was in town, we'd be down there. But Howard Wagman told me this story about Norm, and you know, the first time he came down to do stand-up at Yuck Yucks in Ottawa, and he got off stage, and he was disappointed in how it went. Norm was. He said, "I'm never doing this again." He walked down the street. Howard Wagman chased him down Spark Street in Ottawa and said, "No, that was great. You're coming back." And he made him come back, and the rest is history.
Well, Norm was a legitimate genius.
Yeah.
Like a genius of life. Like a rare specimen. Like genius in not just that his comedy was brilliant, but just like, look at this. I've never seen this before. Like a totally different kind of human.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And genuinely always funny. Like every conversation was funny. He was just funny. I was on a plane with him accidentally twice.
Nice.
Twice.
That must have been amazing.
Twice on two separate occasions. Just totally random. We sat next to each other on the plane like, whoa, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And the last one, it was so funny because he was telling me about how he quit smoking. Yeah, I quit smoking. It's fucking, turns out it's real bad for you. Like, this whole thing about quitting smoking. And we're talking about it, like how hard was it to quit, this whole thing. The moment we land, he walks into the gift shop, buys a pack of cigarettes, and he's lighting them before he gets out the door. And I go, "I thought you quit." He goes, "I did, but all that talking about it made me want to smoke."
Yeah, it's probably all an elaborate setup, right? He probably was planning it the whole way.
I don't know.
Who knows? He probably doesn't even smoke. He was just doing it as a gag. No, he was.
Well, he was into gambling too, right? So like people that have those kind of like impulse control issues, like gambling is a big impulsive thing. Like, I'm gonna fucking bet. I'm gonna bet on it. Let's put the bet. Put it. All of it.
That's
rough. That kind of wild, crazy sports gambling too.
That's not a good addiction to have, especially when you have money, right? You know, stand-up comedy wasn't a mainstream thing then. You know, it was pretty big, but not in Ottawa. It was sort of almost like you felt like you were going somewhere that you weren't supposed to go. You go down in the basement. I was 16 years old. I'm in a bar, you know, and there's some guy on stage, and they're not talking about Norm Macdonald on television yet. He hadn't gone to SNL yet. I remember I'd see him, and my friends would see him, and then we'd go to school, and we'd tell our friends, "You got to go see this guy, Norm Macdonald." He'd come every 3 times a year, and every time he'd come, we'd be there. And it was just like this sort of myth. It was a mythology to it, you know. And then all of a sudden, we heard he moved to Los Angeles because he was writing for Roseanne, you know. And we all heard about this, and it was this sort of, you know, all the, you know, the amateur comics, the kids up there are doing it. And well, I guess I was the kid doing that. Everyone else was kind of in their 20s, but in 30s. But everybody was just kind of like, "There's hope. We can get out of Ottawa, man." You know, so you know, and,
there's something out there.
And then SNL and everything. And it was just amazing to watch him do that. But you know, I was having a good chat with Adam at the club, you know, about Norm, because he was, of course, famously his sidekick on his show.
Yeah.
So it was such a shame to see Norm disappear like that. And
he was talking about coming out here too.
Yeah. So, but it's you know, so much has happened since I was here last. I got a lot of stuff I wanted. First of all, before